Greetings, flesh creatures. It is I, Megatron. On behalf of TFYLP, I want to congratulate you for listening to the most refined collective podcast on this miserable little planet Earth. Yes. Here you'll find knowledgeable fans discussing every aspect of Transformers and beyond. Now, enjoy the show while I continue my path to complete conquest of all of you miserable biological entities. Predacons, terrorize!
Hi, welcome to TFYLP, episode 538. I'm Lucas. I'm joined tonight by a Destron.
Forever Destron.
And a Phil.
What's going on out there, internet world?
And apparently Rick, who's turned his camera off.
No. I'm here. I'm crunching numbers on how many kidneys I need to sell in order to cover San Diego Comicon expenses.
Well, yes, we recently had San Diego Comicon, which had an episode last week, which apparently didn't have video for a good chunk of it. Is that right?
Yeah, and the audio is pretty choppy too. I need to upload the file from my computer. Sorry about that.
Oh, well, yeah. What can you do?
Was I on that episode?
I don't think so.
No, that was me, Christian, and Catherine.
Okay.
So you guys discussed all the happenings at San Diego Comic-Con, while the rest of us were, I guess, spending our time trying to calculate our bank account and how much we'd be spending. So I don't know, for the cast last week, did they mention as far as like the reveals, whether or not they're getting a fair amount of those, or?
I think the way we felt last week with the main panel was we were all pretty excited for just about all that stuff. The only thing that I think we definitively said yay or nay on was none of the three of us were going to get Robus and Grimlock. Yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah. Oh, and also no one's going to get the Matty Creations Jurassic Park gig because that went the way of the Rancor.
That was for those who don't know, I didn't know about it until it actually ended. That was a Mattel Hazlabs style Kickstarter for the iconic Jurassic Park gates. Is that correct, Phil?
Yeah.
So that didn't.
And like the T-Rex was an unlockable tier, which I think Mattel just assumed people would hit that tier and unlock it, and they did not.
So overall, that project didn't fund.
Correct.
So Rick, just to let you know, overall, like if you take your phone and you like turn it this way, there you go. Oh, look at that.
Is that better?
The sound's better too.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
There we go.
All right, there we go.
So
there we go.
Good deal.
All right, so I'm just crunching numbers here on what I spent. So continue.
So Rick, my question for you is have you finally reached a point where your wife is like, wait, hold up?
I'll tell you a story. Last week, the guys and girls in our private TFYLP chat, and those of you who follow me on Twitter, and yes, I still call it Twitter, you might have seen that I acquired a rather large item. This is the Transformers movie theater Rise of the Beast Machines theater display. It is completely intact. I believe it's 9 feet long by 7 feet tall and about 2 feet deep. So, of course, I had to get a trailer. I had to put it on the trailer. I had to cover it with a tarp. tie it down, bungee it down, bring it to the house, unload it, return said trailer to my neighbor, and then my goal was to get it through the door and then surprise my wife with it in the house, like I did with the last night. The Optimus that's kneeling and he's got the sword. I set that one up in the living room. This one I couldn't get through the door. So it got to the point where the kids are like, "Mom, look, Dad's got something in the driveway." And she just comes to the door. She just kind of looks. They open the door. They're running out. They're all excited. And my wife goes, "Yeah, I can't go out there. I can't go out there." It was too big to get through the front door, so it had to go into the garage. And the place where I was going to put it, I was going to hang it from the ceiling. It's a little too big for the ceiling, so I may have to take down some lights, rearrange the ceiling lights in order to mount it on the ceiling.
Of the garage or
No, of the toy room. The toy room has 11-foot tall ceilings.
Okay.
So the basement has 11-foot tall ceilings. So I was thinking I can build an endoskeleton, attach that to the beams in the ceiling, and then just hook up the endoskeleton using zip ties to the beams, to eye hooks in the beams, and I would just have it hanging from the ceiling looking down on me. Because no matter where I put it, it's going to be blocking something. Even if I put it on caster wheels, it's still going to block something. So I think if I just hang it from the ceiling, it's going to be a big project now because I got to do a bunch of electrical work.
Put it in your bedroom.
See, most collectors are like Con, and they think in 2 dimensions. Rick is like Kirk, and he's thinking in 3 dimensions that you can go from above as well.
Oh, yeah. There's a staircase, the main staircase that goes into the basement. Eventually, both staircases will have it, but I have posters going down that slanted part of the
ceiling.
Yeah, I mean that's valuable real estate.
Yeah, in Rob's basement, as you descend the stairs into his man cave, or he shares it with his wife, so into their cave, it's all the artwork that they've picked up and posters and things. It's really, the descent is a lot of fun. It builds the anticipation.
Excellent.
So is this the first movie theater display? I guess you said you have the last night one. Do you have any other ones? Or
no, I have
just two?
The last night and the Rise of the Beast I have complete. I have most of the Dark of the Moon display, where it's the big giant Optimus with the battle cannons and the jetpack, and he's coming out. I don't have the background to that, but I do have that Optimus. That's going to get hung from the ceiling as well because there's no background. And then I have part of the Bumblebee, that big, huge Bumblebee display. I got the head. Then I have the, I think it's 16 feet long. It's the big Toys R Us display that, when there's a big property that comes out, it's the first thing when you walk through Toys R Us, you'd see this big display. So I have the complete thing, and I set that up in the basement, and I put cases in front of it. And then I have another thing, which is just, as of right now, it is too big for me to display. It comes in 3 pieces. It's going back a few years. I believe it's 26 feet long by 9 or 10 feet tall. It's 3 banners that hung outside of Toys R Us in Times Square.
Oh, wow.
They're vinyl banners, so I have those. But those are too big as of right now to hang up. Those are for Dark of the Moon.
How does the conversation go with whoever the manager is of whatever establishment that you're trying to procure these items from there?
All right, so I have a set spiel that I do. And
It's for my
I have to
kid.
go-
He's dying. He wants it for his bedroom.
yeah. Look at me. I'm obviously I'm dying. Look at my body. No. So I go to the theater. And I have to kind of scope it out. I kind of have to look around. I can't get the lowest person on the totem pole, but I can't get the highest manager either. It's got to be someone with a set of keys, because the stuff's got to walk out the side door without tripping the alarm. So I look for that mid-level manager. Oh, did I lose you?
No, I'm
No, you're
listening.
still-
I'm here.
Yep.
Hello?
We can see him, Rick. Well, we see
he hung up.
Oh man, we're about ready to get into it.
So, yep.
I thought that I had it.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So,
you
like,
would-
the one I would want from that would be the Age of Extinction with the Grimlock. I'm just saying.
You're frozen.
Who's frozen?
Oh.
Me?
Yeah, you're frozen.
Phil has been frozen, but I think he's
no.
unfrozen
Oh.
now, at least on the show. Oh, here.
Yeah,
All right, let's
hold
see
on.
if this works for Rick.
Wow.
Maybe?
We're doing it, you guys.
Yeah.
I don't know why
Hey.
I tend to freeze and
I
unfreeze.
don't understand what's going on with Rick's thing. I guess I could try calling him. Let's see if
I don't know. So what's the topic? We spend money and we're all bonkers?
I think so.
Yeah,
Hey.
but
Something along those lines.
All right, let's try that.
Okay, there we go. We got him back.
Now you're on the computer, but
Uh,
there's no camera.
There's no
There's
camera.
no camera. Okay.
So it says that Rick invests in divorce class collectibles from Ron.
Does
It's
does
not a
Rick
lie.
what?
So you know how you have deluxe class, Voyager class, leader class, right? The class of collectibles that you collect, Rick, are divorce class.
But he's
According
not
to
divorced yet. He's not
Right.
divorced yet.
Ron. This
I
is
mean,
what
I
Ron
was
says.
I was buying basic Energon figures and ended up with a divorce. So
Everybody's different.
whatever. Everybody's different. Her threshold was way too low.
you kept telling her it wasn't Jetfire, it was Skyfire, and she just would not have it.
The conversation was kind of like, hey, you don't have a job, so you don't get to tell me what I do with my money. And no, you can't buy those shoes. You don't have a job. Where are you going to wear them? The end.
Mm.
Yeah. True story.
And
Is
scuff
Rick on
up the
the
top
call?
of the dancing floor. You best put them back where you found them.
She did a lot of dancing on bars.
Rick, are you with us? He looks like he has no video and is muted.
He's muted. Oh, no. Oh, no, Rick.
So he's on the call, but we can't see or hear it from him. So there we go.
Pretty.
But yeah, I think this is a good cast to have on tonight with Peter and Rick, because of the idea that, I mean, you two are some of the most prolific Transformers collectors in the world, and even you two have said this is a tipping point that I cannot cross. And Nick has also said that with Robeson. Nick has said that as well.
I think it's
even
specific to Robeson, and so I'm really curious because this topic was proposed by Rick, and if he could ever fix his audio and or video, maybe he can communicate to us the other things that he is complaining about on price, right? But I think it's the Robeson figure specifically, right?
Well, he also wanted to talk about just the general environment of collecting, where we are getting towards 5 people in this chat now. We're getting to the point where it is
All right.
not uncommon to get close to 4 digits, if not going into 4 digits on toys.
Oh, we've got a Jim here that somehow managed to pop up. I don't know how this happened.
Surprise, surprise.
Jim, you got to mute yourself, man. There's the echo and feedback is insane.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I will see about fixing that.
It's good to see you, though.
Yeah. It's been a while.
It has.
From a satellite office.
How's that work?
Oh.
Am I live?
Yeah, you're
We can
on
hear
the
you.
show. We can hear you.
Man, what a headache. What a headache TFYLP is.
Right. Now Phil lost. Oh, there you go. Phil's back.
It's what we do.
It's just amazing, right? Oh boy. All right.
I thought I was frozen, so if I turn off my camera and turn it back on, that seems to
It
unfreeze me.
unfreezes
But then
it.
I guess I wasn't frozen.
I think you're okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Jim, is your audio worked out here?
Well, if he mutes, he can't talk. So I think what he has to do is he's kind of got to say his piece and then mute and then unmute to talk again.
Fair enough.
And we got to all shut up when he's talking.
Jim, you've got the floor. Okay, maybe not. Oh,
This is going great.
All right, well, I can go back to my...
okay,
how I
sure,
steal
Rick.
things from the
Go
movie
back to
theater.
your story.
All right. So I have a standard spiel that I give when I need to acquire these things that are not available for sale. So I find that mid-level manager, someone who's got keys to the store, who knows how to shut the alarm off, and whether it be Walmart or Target or a movie theater, you got to find that mid-level person. Can't be the top guy because they'll never go for it. They're by the book. Can't be the low guy on the totem pole because they don't have access to anything. Got to find that person that's like $12 an hour, right? So I spot my target. I go see Rise of the Beast. I spot my target. It's the person standing next to the person who's ripping the tickets. I'm like, that's who I'm going to talk to. So I go up to her and I say, hey, you look like you're in charge here. And she gives me a chuckle. She's like, I'm not the boss. Like, but I can tell you're in charge. So listen, this may seem weird, but I need you to do me a favor. I'm going to give you my business card. I need you to Google me. All right, I know that's weird. I know it's petty. But look, here's my card. Just Google me. You're going to find a lot of things about Transformers. You're going to find that I've written Transformers books. You're going to find that I used to work for Transformers. You're going to find that I used to, that I have,
Whoa,
a pretty large collection.
Stop the presses. Hold the phone. You used to work for Transformers.
Yeah. So I say this, and I'm like, listen, there's that display over there. And I have several $100s in cash just for you. If you can get that out the building when the time comes. Here's my card. Cash under the table just for you. Just call or text. And I give her my business card.
You don't give her the cash right then, right?
No.
Payment on delivery, yeah?
Yeah, because half the time they never call you.
Yeah.
So a few weeks go by. I didn't hear anything. I figured, I'm not going to get it. I kept going back to the theater and seeing the display. So, and I didn't see that girl again at the theater, but I get a text. She's like, hey, do you still want that thing? And I won't say her name, and I won't say what theater it was. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, listen, would $250 get me that display? I'll take the whole thing. You don't have to take it apart. Just walk it out the door. I got a trailer for it. She's like, yep, come get it right now. Perfect. Done. I wrap my day up at work. I close my store at 5. Go home, grab my neighbor's trailer, hook it up to the back of my SUV, my Nissan Armada, and go to the theater. And so that's the sweet spot, that middle manager. That's who you have to hit in order to get those things.
So you have to really, really stick it to the people who are struggling to put food on their plate and jeopardize their job in order to make sure that your collector needs are satisfied. And don't deny it, because I would do the same thing, because we know America is a delightful place where people just love to scrap for the food for their family. And, you know, if it costs us a little bit of cardboard at the theater, then so be it. I got $200.
I didn't make.
That'll buy me
two.
That'll buy me 2 Arby's value meals. $200. I'm thinking Arby's.
Listen, I didn't make anyone text me. I didn't make anyone do anything they didn't want to do.
I'm not saying you twisted their arm. I'm not saying you twisted their arm. I'm saying that the America allowed their arm to be twisted.
I like how Rick's suddenly talking like he's like speaking in front of a congressional panel. I didn't make anyone do anything.
I presented an opportunity. I presented capitalism, which
and
is what
this is the land of opportunity. Yeah,
that's right. We're a capitalist nation. I provided an opportunity for someone who's struggling. Maybe I don't know this person's situation, but I know they're getting me a lot more posters for my business.
You look like you're struggling and like you run this place. You're my mark. How would you like to make $35? That's what, like a week's worth of wages for you? You know you want it. I want you to Google me. Give me a little Google right there. I'm gonna give you my card.
I know.
Give me a little Google.
Petty,
So, I mean, I guess it's good at least that you didn't just go up to the manager and go, "Hey, do you want to know a way to make a quick $200?"
Right. Yeah, could you meet me in the alley out back?
That could get you, get the cops called, I guess, right?
See me in the alley for more details.
right. I'll bring my trailer.
Right. I'll bring my trailer. You bring Optimus. Yeah.
How's it going, Jim?
Well, I'm not too familiar with the phone interface. I'm used to sitting on the PC and doing this. I can't seem to find the settings. I'm trying to hold my thumb over what I'm guessing is the microphone. Is that any different at all? Any better?
Well, now it sounds like you have your thumb over the microphone. So
it's fun. It's
awesome.
I think it works all right.
Okay.
So Jim, I know that this was something that
show.
you wanted to join you. You have a few minutes from your satellite location here. What's your spiel on the topic?
Well, it's kind of it's one part the pricing, going up, of course. Figures becoming more and more expensive as the years go on. And that, I mean, not only seeing things like the Hazlab Unicron, but also now the options from Robosen with the Optimus, the Grimlock. I mean, that's the price that some people pay for like a used vehicle, like a down payment on a used vehicle. But at the same time, I also look at it from the perspective of someone who's in the working class and just constantly living the struggle that is life. Having the overhead of bills, rent, children, just on and on and on, just normal expenses, and trying to be able to have, some kind of participation in this hobby on a finite income. So, I'm no stranger to rummaging through, secondhand shops like Goodwill and places, different collector shops. If they have like a bit of parts or accessories or even busted figures. There have been times I've taken multiple multiple copies of a figure, each one to be missing parts, and combine them together to try to make some kind of more complete figure, which is a little problematic with more vintage figures like G1 and G2. But it's a bit easier when you have stuff that has like ball joints, some of your Scout class figures and so forth. You know, that's a little more tolerant of mismatched parts, you know, from different figures. But no, I'm constantly keeping an eye out for any bargains, any clearance sales. If something maybe shows up later on after release at places like Ross Dress for Less or Marshall's, Home Goods, all these bargain outlet. Right now, the Target exclusive Buzzworthy Bumblebee blue or silver streak that's blue, which is hilarious, has been showing up at all these bargain outlet for about $10. So I mean that's a really good figure. It's the Diaclone color scheme. It's a decent one to grab. You know, not everybody had a Target near them. Fewer still have an Ollie's, I'm sure. But it's nice to be able to get something that would be otherwise exclusive at a bit of a discount.
Well, and that's one thing, you know, for a while with COVID that, you know, there weren't a lot of figures going on discount. Like everything was kind of getting snatched up and it was really hard to find things. And I know several years ago, you know, everyone was like, oh, well, I'm just going to wait for Ollie's. I'm going to wait for Ross. And it kind of seems like we're kind of swinging back that way a little bit. But it's really kind of dependent on the figure. So if you're not, you know, if you don't have certain figures, you're like, I have to have this, that you just like fun robots, then yeah, like it seems like that, you know, there's definitely sales to be had. I know like Prime Day, we just recently had that. And then we also, you know, kind of have the periodic Hasbro Pulse sale, too. And it seems like a lot more like those Pulse sales are actually pretty darn good. Like it's crazy to me that they just throw everything on sale almost. Like, I mean, it's not everything, but it's a lot of the stuff, including more recent figures too.
Yeah. Coronation Starscream from Studio Series is a good example too. You know, it's a leader class figure, and you know, it started showing up after sitting on the shelves for I don't know how long.
We still have, most of our Walmarts still have leader class Starscream, the Coronation one, at $55, and then you can roll over to Ross and find it for $19. It's like it's in the same shopping center. It's absurd, but it gives the opportunity because I mean, apparently everyone bought their Coronation Starscreams a year and a half ago, and that's why they're still sitting at Walmart and Target and all that stuff. Which, you know, if you want to save more than 50%, yeah.
That and it's not too much different than the Earthrise release.
Right.
You know,
it's really not. It gets
no longer
the chair and the chair and the hat.
Yeah, I get frustrated. I got frustrated today on a Transformers Facebook page on Facebook page. Someone was complaining about the prices of Snarl, the recently released, you know, leader class Studio Series Snarl. His prices on eBay. It's like, this toy has been out for a week, 2 weeks. Yeah, it's gonna fetch high prices on eBay. Like, Sludge was hard to find at first, and then he became extremely plentiful. So part of it is, if you want to save some money on toys, be patient. I've been advocate of that for years now. If there are figures you want to have, you know, exclusives are really, really tough for me because, you know, we've had plenty of exclusives that came and went really quickly. Walmart specifically seems to be trickier, but Target ones are becoming more plentiful. So it's one of those things that, you know, Marvel Legends Target exclusives, those things have been hitting clearance bins left and right after being on the shelves for only like 4 weeks. So again, being patient will help if you're trying to save a few bucks.
Well, there's also the part where if you're patient, you might lose out on things. So I was talking to Peter about this today. The metallic, I think they're called Metal Form Super 7 Beast Wars figures that are Target exclusives of Optimus Prime and Megatron. I haven't seen them at all. I found 2 today, and I grabbed both of them. I haven't seen the Megatron at all, and I think those have pretty much come and gone. And I think the only place you can get the regular Super 7 Beast Force figures now is the Super 7 website.
Yeah, those came and went. I saw them at Target and was like, oh, okay, cool. They're dropping, so I'll be able to get them whenever. And then that was it. That one time at that one Target was my only chance. And I kept walking because I figured, well, they'll drop. I've got 9 Targets around me, and I failed.
So that's the argument for, not waiting. There's an argument for waiting, like as we just discussed, between a Ross and a Walmart. But then there's the main topic for tonight, which is basically is collecting getting to a point where so many companies are just greedy and trying to get not just a chunk of an IP, a piece of that pie, but get an extremely large piece of that pie that maybe they wouldn't necessarily have gotten 20 years ago. So I'm just adding up all my San Diego Comicon expenses so far that I can remember, and I'm about $3,551 right now. So this is not all Comic-Con stuff. This is stuff that just happened to hit around the time of Comic-Con. And I'll start with the big 3. Okay. Robos and Grimlock.
Yeah.
$1,500. It's more expensive than the Optimus. Now, what's happened since Robos and Optimus came out? We had, what was he, $700?
600, I think.
Okay. And then we had a smaller version of that Robosin come out for the same price. We had the trailer come out, $600.
The second release was smaller?
Yeah, there was a smaller version.
Really?
Yeah.
Same price as
There's
the
like
original.
yeah, exactly. No, it's the flagship version and the collector version or whatever, but one's slightly downsized. They both have the same everything to them, basically.
Then there's the Dancing Optimus, the Dancing Bumblebee. I don't know what else to call them. And then you got that $1,500 Grimlock. It looks great. It looks amazing.
I think it's the best one yet. I really do. It's the best looking one that they've done. It nails both modes. It doesn't look like I don't know, the Optimus, both Optimuses, or both of the Gen 1 Optimuses look really like off model, because to fit all the robotics and everything it needs to do, they don't look like a masterpiece. The Grimlock looks like the frickin' masterpiece. It's gorgeous.
It actually, to me, it looks just like the G1 toy. It looks like it transforms exactly like the G1 toy.
Oh yeah, it transforms just like the G1 toy, but the robot mode really nails that masterpiece animation model look. It's beautiful.
I think they had to get through that Optimus in order to get to that Grimlock. And then I wouldn't be surprised if the next one is again Optimus, but a better looking Optimus. So that hit $1,500. What do we have just a few days after that? We have the Cat's Lair. An impressive, man, if there's anything that a toy line needs, it's a super impressive base, right? G.I. Joe had the Terradrome, had the Flag, had the Defiant, Transformers, Fortress Maximus, Omega Supreme, Metroplex, Trypticon, Scorponok.
I want a Cobra Hammerhead.
Cobra Hammerhead was one of my favorite guys. One of my favorite vehicles when I was a kid. Right? Sectars, Rambo, all these toy lines from the 80s had giant, massive play sets. We're back into that. We're getting back into that golden era. The Cat's Lair from Super 7, $650. Now, luckily, they do installment payments. So I'm not paying for this all at once. I think it's four uneasy payments, as far as I can remember. All right, moving on.
If only that was an option for Unicron.
Yeah, I wish it was an option for Unicron. I would have bought more. And then, speaking of Unicron, which is a Hazlab product, hey everyone, I know you're spending a ton of money at San Diego Comicon. I know we have a ton of pre-orders up on our website. Hey, F you, here's the Ghost. $500 for the Ghost. Probably 20, 30 years from now, I think the Ghost will be as iconic as the Millennium Falcon. So it's a must-get for me, because I only collect the Star Wars vehicles. I don't really collect the figures. I like to have the vehicles on display.
That's funded in like 2 days, right? It funded real fast. Yeah.
Yeah, it did. The Cat's Lair is hovering around, I think, 1,400 last time I checked. So I think it needs to get to that 3,000 mark to get funded. Speaking of grabbing a piece of that pie, so that's Super 7 trying to get $650 from Thundercats fans. I mean, Transformers, sure, we can handle a $1,500 figure, but it's Grimlock. I mean, it's not an Optimus. It's not a Soundwave. Peter, are you getting a $1,500 Grimlock?
I am not. As of right now, I am not. And we've talked about this before when it comes to the Robosons, and it's like, I don't think we're the market for these. Kids certainly aren't the market for these. It's for tech bros who don't remember the cartoon. They don't watch the movies. They don't know what's going on, but they've got $1,500 to throw around. Whoa, bro, remember Truck Guy from that cartoon from way back when? I got the big expensive one, brah, and you don't have it because you can't fucking afford it. Yeah.
They made it for Elon so he could change his name.
Bingo.
Right. It's called X-Lock now. Lucas, are you getting a $1,500 Grimlock?
Absolutely not. No. But at
That's a
the
poor
same
reflection
time,
on
though, I think like Peter says is correct, though, is I feel like that Grimlock is for the guys that don't collect Transformers and they only have a handful of collectibles, and so that's their purchase for the year. Whereas for us, like, yeah, like I probably spent $1,500 in Transformers this year, but it's how many figures did I buy with that $1,500?
I mean, I've spent more than $1,500 in the last 2 months, but it wasn't on just one thing. It was on a whole melange of nonsense. And you know, from G.I. Joes to Battle Beast to Machine Robo to GoBots to Masters of the Universe, and some of those Transformers. But still, it's there's a lot more to show for it than the Grimlock that I'm going to play with for 5 minutes that isn't in scale with anything that I already own, that I'm going to get bored with, and I'm going to put it in its little styrofoam box. Goodbye.
So what else is out there, right?
Well, and Ron brings up about the Mattel Jurassic Park gate that failed.
And we also just had the HasLab G.I. Joe Dragonfly that finished right before San Diego Comic-Con. So your bank got hit with that charge.
That's right. You know what? I didn't even think about that one, but that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't collect that scale G.I. Joe, so I didn't get it. But that's right. The Dragonfly. What was that? 300?
350, I want to say.
350.
I think so, yeah.
But I always feel like this time of year is kind of rough around Comic-Con. You know, like there's always a bunch of Masterpiece that drops, a bunch of those, and then like, you know, all the toys drop, you know, to ramp up for, you know, the fall, whatever season and all that. Back to school.
Thanks for reminding me of the Mattel stuff I bought. So let's see.
Rick, when you're looking that up, I think what makes sense to me for a company like Super 7. Super 7 does not own Thundercats. They have the license for right now. So from their perspective, for Ninja Turtles, for Thundercats, for anything that they don't permanently own the license of, which is the vast majority of the things they properties they're dealing with, why wouldn't you squeeze every penny out of that as possible? Because there's no real reason not to.
That's a fair point. That's a very fair point. But I didn't think Thundercats, and so far it hasn't funded yet. I'm not sure the Thundercats Market can handle a $650 item. I thought they were pushing it with the Thunder Tank.
Yeah.
But again, that was a few uneasy installments of 135 here, 135 there.
They got me for Snake Mountain. I personally, after the 2011 Thundercats series, kind of gave up on Thundercats as a whole because you can't finish a line. No one can finish a line. I don't want to start if I can't have a complete display of something. I don't want to get started. Now we're closer here than we've ever been, but I'm still reluctant, and I know I'm going to pay for it on the back end.
Yeah. So, I understand what you're saying, Peter, but we've gotten figures we've never gotten before. We're getting the Lunatacs, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're getting hopefully a kick-ass Cat's Lair, right? We're getting I understand why we're getting the toy version and the cartoon version of the figures. They got to reuse those molds. I get it. But then, these companies drop. So those are the licensee companies. The main companies, I won't even get into what Mattel got me for last week. Let's just talk about what Hasbro threw up on pre-order. SG Hot Rod Sideways, $55.
Great price for those two figures in an exclusive box and everything. Normally, yeah.
So, sorry, Hot Rod Sideways, what? I must have missed that one.
Shattered Glass Hot Rod and Sideways, $55.
Mm-hmm.
What mold is the Sideways?
The
Earthrise
Cybertron Sideswipe.
Oh.
And it comes with
that's just going to become Armada Wheeljack later on.
Yeah.
Do they have the symbol crossed out?
It's all scratched out. Yeah. They've retooled the chest. It's beautiful. It's going to be Wheeljack for sure.
They're going to redeck later for Armada.
Yeah.
And it comes with his Minicon.
Yes.
Oh.
Brand new Minicon.
Okay. Like what they did with Gold Hotshot. I'm not sure how to feel about that one.
Right. Hotshot. Forgot about that one. What was that? $35?
Yeah.
Something like that.
So Hotshot, $35. Nacelle, $35. Just a repaint. War Dawn, $50. All right. I think it's a good price. What's that, Jim?
Ultra Magnus Studio Series. That's a Commander class, right?
That's right. I didn't even pre-order that one.
Yeah.
Was that one available?
This is like the fourth or fifth Magnus last decade.
Yeah, pre-orders haven't dropped yet, but yeah, it's our fifth Magnus. They've gotten us for every one because they know we're all suckers. Because this one's way better than the previous ones, and I was really happy with every version we've had before.
Yeah,
I was really happy with the Earthrise one.
And he has a slot for the Matrix in his chest.
Yep. And he can hold it with his little fingers, little.
That's right. That's right. I hope I can take his legs
damn
off.
it.
Peter, were you even happy with the Netflix whatever collector box one? The
Netflix one I used for raw parts to swap into my Shattered Glass one to build a great Delta Magnus. And now that they have the Commander class one coming out, they're going to redeco it as just a regular straight Delta Magnus, and then I'm going to be mad at the thing that I wasted my money on building.
I bet they could still put that in Studio Series because of the trailer for the 86 movie.
Bingo.
That clip.
Absolutely. They could use the promo footage. Yep.
Yeah, the trailer that had the Iron Maiden laid over, the Lost for Words.
All right.
That would be nice.
And you guys just reminded me about the Pops Galvatron Rodimus 2-pack. There's another $50.
Oh.
So, and I just learned from Peter that Pops, depending on where you buy them, whether it's a store exclusive or a convention or online, they have different decos. So
Different decals.
Different decals.
Yeah. Decals on the boxes will change, whether it's a pop-up shop exclusive, the online exclusive if you have to wait in line.
Oh, that I knew. I thought the actual figures themselves.
No. The stickers are different.
All right. Yeah, because I told them, don't get me a San Diego Comic-Con one. Don't bother shipping it. I'll go to GameStop. I went to GameStop, $50. I got it.
Okay.
Nova Prime. That's another $55.
Mm-hmm.
I never saw Cybertron Prime.
I saw him several times. I saw him several times when he was brand new, and then I guess another shipment dropped at some point about a year later locally. There was a rerun, and I saw him like everywhere for a week, and then they were all gone again.
Yeah, I think he's on the pulse still. Deadeye Dual 2-pack, another $50.
The leader class Cybertron Optimus, you sure?
What's that, Jim?
For the Galaxy upgrade, the leader class.
Right. Yeah, I think that's still on Hasbro Pulse.
Really?
Ron wants to know, Rick, if you got the limited Megatron Freddy Funko.
No, it's on my hit list. But I did get the Super 7 Megatron, the big vinyl figure.
Mm-hmm.
They usually make, a solid figure, then they make a clear one. They'll probably make a black one. They'll probably make a translucent purple one. So I got the Megatron. Moving on to the other San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, I got the Fig Pin Ironhide, $20. That Megatron's $150. I got the Icon Heroes Optimus Megatron. That was $90.
So
there's the Super 7 Baroness Destro. I got the posters. I got some jewelry they had.
Did you get last week? It went up for sale on Pulse, but it was up for sale through other venues. MP44S, the animated Deco MP44.
Well, I pre-ordered it. I didn't pay for it.
Okay. All right. So there you go. Okay.
Yeah, but that doesn't come out till next year.
All right. But a lot of the pre-order stuff you're not paying for.
Well, I think when you pre-order a Pulse, they just take it out right away.
No, they charge you when it lands, and they'll warn you.
Yeah.
But you know how Pulse has gone. The last 3 years, Pulse decides to drop literally everything you have pre-order on December 1st. They're like, "Oh, you were doing something for the holidays? Well, guess what? Pulse got you."
I just got a bunch of ship notifications. I think my War Dawn's already shipping. A bunch of other things are shipped. All the G2 stuff is shipped. G2 Grimlock, $52.
So are you complaining about the price of things or the volume of collectibles that is coming out? Because I feel like
Showtime synergy.
Two different things.
The complaint is not about the volume or the price. The complaint is about fitting all of this into the span of basically 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going through right now. That's why I'm trying to figure out which one of my kids doesn't need both kidneys. I think it's the little one. I think the older one's going to be a heavy drinker.
Well, and that's one thing too that I know. Christian had kind of discussed budgeting before for his stuff, but I never understand how you do that because they said that you could go a couple months and have nothing, and then like all of a sudden one day and everything ships, and you're like, oh crap! Like now I have to go pay it off.
Yeah, and I think we saw something similar to this. Was it last year or the year before, where you had the G.I. Joe Sky Striker, the Rancor Monster, and the Ghostbusters Proton Pack that all were at the same time going on for the HasLab, we had just finished the Star Saber Hazlab. So, I mean, there was another instance of just, that was the same company, at least in some of this description. Rick, you're talking about Super 7 and RoboSyn, which is not really Hasbro, but kind of Hasbro, and Mattel, all kind of like going for your wall at the same time. But yeah, I mean, at some point, I think we're going to hit a tipping point. At some point, I think, this stuff isn't going to fund like the way it is. We saw that with several.
Didn't fund.
Rancor didn't.
Hello?
I don't know
Hello?
what happened
Everything's
there.
went
You
screwy.
guys are back though.
Okay. So yeah, there's been more and more Hazlabs that have not funded. And again, the Jurassic Park one didn't fund. But there was a lot of people who had that kind of money to spend on collectibles during COVID because they couldn't go on vacations, because they couldn't go out to eat. They couldn't do all these, fancy, expensive activities. So they were buying fancy, expensive things. And the timeline for a lot of this stuff is years. So my assumption is that these companies started putting this stuff in development during the COVID, like just glut times for toy companies. And here they are saying like, well, hey, we designed it. We put this money to design it. We can't, we can try and put this out and hopefully it funds. And if it doesn't, well, all right, it doesn't fund, but we're going to at least put it out there as a Kickstarter HasLab sort of crowdfunding deal.
My electric bill was $450 this month. So, and it's only getting hotter. And, we're going to hit a point where it's like, well, I got to choose. Do I want everything I've worked my whole life for to literally melt in the sun? Or do I want to, pay my bills and slow down on the new purchases? I'd rather protect my... Exactly. I'd rather protect what I've got going on here than invest in something new that I'm not in love with. I don't know.
But then, you fall behind, and it's so much harder to catch up.
It is. I've been playing catch up on Studio Series.
Yeah, playing catch up.
It's just going to be harder to find.
Yeah, there's that, and we always go back to this whole like we're all getting old thing, but it's not going to be long. People are going to be selling their dead spouses collections, sort of things, and it's sad. Tiny Matrix. But yeah, I'd rather fall behind than put myself in a position with a $1,700 figure, because if you don't get the Grimlock at the early bird price, you're going to spend more. I'd rather
That's
play
the
catch
early
up.
bird price?
That's the early bird price. The $1,500 is the early bird price. It's $1,700 or $1,800 standard.
You just had to remind me about the getting old part, didn't you?
Say again?
So you had to remind me about the getting old part, didn't you?
Yeah, everyone on this call is over 40. We're all a bunch of old crotches.
I'm turning 40 next week.
Oh, well then you're the young buck. Congratulations.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, I'm about to go over that hill face first.
Everything starts to hurt, let me tell you. Get yourself an easy chair and kick back. Eat carrots.
Listen,
Eat a big bag of carrots.
I got a metal folding one.
There you go. That's...
You gotta get your ass checked.
Yeah.
All right.
I had my 43-year well baby checkup today. It was a good one.
You gotta get your oil checked. All right. And I'm not even trying to make a joke.
Oh no, seriously. I know.
At 48, my dad had polyps grown, that had to be taken out. Gotta get your oil checked.
Ryan Reynolds actually just dropped a video the other day on YouTube. It has Terry Crews in it that talks about that and is trying to raise awareness.
It's a serious thing, and anyone who's considering
actually has the procedure done. They have him before and after.
I saw, was it Katie Couric that did it live on TV? They showed like a split screen of her face and the inside of the camera, like at the same time in like 2001 or 2002. It was really bizarre. It was surreal.
I don't remember that.
It would look it up. It happened. I'm pretty sure it was.
I just did not. I'm good.
It was weird. Anyway,
I had
but
it
yeah,
done real quickly since we're on the topic. I had it done, but I've got like GERD and heartburn issues, so they did a camera down the throat too. So the two cameras met in the middle of me and did a high five, and then went back out.
that's a thing.
Yeah.
Everyone, check your health and spend money on health and preventative stuff before you spend money on Roboson Grimlocks or Cat's Lairs or Thunder Tanks or Unicrons or whatever the thing is that is really itching at the hole in your heart that you've had since you were a kid. Take care of yourselves. Don't burn all your money on dumb stuff because holy shit, you're going to die at some point and your family's going to be left with a big pile of nonsense and no you. You won't be there because you were spending money stressing about Cat's Lair. Don't do it. Don't do it. Buy what makes you happy and buy what you can afford. If you're priced out, then you're priced out. If you got to play catch up, then you got to play catch up. You cannot make decisions that are going to put you and your family and your house and your livelihood in jeopardy because you have an itch to buy a freaking toy.
It is a fun hobby, but it can very easily turn into a very toxic asset. Absolutely. There's a little bit of a quick callback. Several years ago, we did a couple episodes. If you go back to the TFYLP archive on the website there, we did why we collect what we collect, and we did what to do with your collection when you die. So if you guys get time, you might go back and give those episodes a review and see what you think about that, and maybe let us know in the comments.
Well,
Yeah, I would say one big point of recommendation I would have is Peter, you just use a word that I don't like to use in this kind of hobby is like gotta. Get rid of the word need and get rid of the word gotta out of your vocabulary when you're talking about toys. You don't gotta play catch up. You'd like to play catch up.
Get rid of the word old
on the things you missed out on. You'd like to get that Cat's Lair. You don't need that Cat's Lair. None of this crap that we need. And I get it. It's a small thing. We say the word need, but you're training your brain. You're training your brain to think that you do need it versus I'd like to get that quite a bit.
Rick is like, no. I need it. I need that like 26-foot Optimus cardboard display there.
But there's a lot of keeping up with the Joneses in our hobbies too. Is if you don't have
that. Look, 2 years from now, who's going to have a complete Rise of the Beast movie theater display?
Exactly.
Who's going to have it? Right?
Exactly.
It's going to be that much harder to get.
Right.
20 years from now.
Well,
Right.
people
And
quit
the-
stealing
and
the
the-
RC.
And the Roboson, like the app that controls the Roboson Grimlock won't be updated, and you won't be able to get it on your phone, and then you can't even control the darn thing. And,
Hold on. So what you're saying is that they won't support the app forever?
at some point they'll quit supporting the app is what I'm guessing.
So it could become a $1,500 net jet.
Pretty much.
Nice.
Well, and then I'm assuming whatever batteries, like, I don't know, is it have replaceable batteries, or how does that work?
Who knows?
You gotta put
Might
it
be
in the
an answer.
microwave to charge it.
like on a wheel,
Yeah.
How many
so-
people who bought Roboson Prime a year ago even care about it now a year later? So who cares if the app won't work in 6 years or the battery corrodes and dissolves it 15 years from now?
I don't wanna-
That's true. Mine's just sitting on a shelf.
Yeah.
Can they be transformed manually?
No.
I
No,
have no idea. Yeah.
they can't
And
be
it won't-
transformed manually, and it won't stand up without the app being turned on. You have to actively be using the app for Optimus to stand up straight. Otherwise, he sags down into a squat. It's the dumbest thing. I hope they've resolved it for the Grimlock, but yeah, the battery issues, the storage issues, the app issues, and just the playability and the fun factor has super diminishing returns.
Well,
It's not a
I-
toy. It's a robot.
I think you've made up my mind for me. The $1,500 I don't have won't be going to Grimlock.
Well,
I mean,
that's one thing
Come on,
for
Jim.
me.
Take out a
Last
second
year,
mortgage.
I was gonna say last year the Proton Pack that went up, like I would have really liked to have that. Like I like Ghostbusters and all that. Like I had a whatever the Halloween store, the Spirit Halloween version or whatever. I can't, whatever you get with your costume, right? Like I had that, and I was like, oh man, like I sure would like it. But I was like, you know what? All this other stuff is coming out, and I don't have the money to be buying that in addition to all these other things. The other thing that I've done a long time ago is get the heck out of all these other toy lines that weren't Transformer. Like I myself, I feel like as the collection has grown of, kind of what I've had to figure out like where am I going to cut at, and so it's like, I used to collect Marvel Legends, like don't collect that anymore. Used to collect Star Wars, don't collect that anymore. And used to collect Masterpiece stuff, and now I've kind of done more mainline, and so that's where I kind of feel like I feel like you have to pick and choose a little bit, and there's some people that have infinite space and money, but I'm not one of those people, so I had to kind of pick and choose.
I am also not one of those people. I just want to stress that. That's why I have so much heartburn and anxiety about not being able to enjoy collecting the way I want to collect.
I mean, all of us have at some point an upper limit of what we can afford and what we can store and what we can display and what we have just general space for, and it varies from person to person, from house to house, and that's fine. But wait, I had a point. You can't give yourself heartburn over the FOMOs or the whatever. You just can't. I do the same thing, Rick. I am super guilty, man. If I feel like I'm missing something, or I feel like it's just fear of missing out, and I've had to struggle with that, and I had to refocus. Like Lucas was saying about, I had to strip away, not me personally, but he had to strip away Marvel Legends and Black Series, Star Wars, whatever. Just strip them all away. I had to slow down on some things, but they gave me the opportunity to play with other stuff like Battle Beasts, Machine Robo, GoBots, and I'm getting so much more enjoyment out of collecting the things from my childhood than I do with chasing down the nonsense at Walmart or gambling on Ross or Ollie's or pre-orders, because oh man, pre-orders are a slog. There's anxiety with that. You got to log on at 1 p.m. and you got to make sure that your pulse dues are paid, and you got to make sure your connection's good, and you got to make sure nothing's happening at work.
It's like trying to send a fax to fun publications.
So yeah, exactly. They're going to steal your credit card, and the fax isn't going to go through, and customer service isn't going to help you. Have fun. You just missed your pin. You just missed that. This just sold out, and you're not going.
Speaking of things that seem too good to be true, don't forget about Facebook Marketplace.
Oh yeah,
it's another place where you can try to find a bunch of figures, and half the time they don't even respond to you, or they'll mark it as sold just to shut you up.
It's a minefield.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, and the thing with the pre-orders, like the other day, Tow Line went up, right? And I thought I bought it, but apparently I didn't, or I thought I pre-ordered it, but I didn't. And so then I'm like, oh crap, like everyone's like, oh, my Tow Line shipping, and I'm like, oh, oops, like apparently my order didn't go through. So, but I know, Peter, like you've had that too. I mean, all of us have had that where you pre-ordered, it's like some of these companies, it's like they can take the pre-order. Now, they can't always actually fulfill the pre-order. That's a different story. So
you take the reservation, you don't hold the car. Yeah. No, Target, I gave up on pre-ordering from Target at all, because no joke, since 2020, I think I've had one pre-order successfully go through. Every other one, literally every other one, for dozens of figures, they just canceled it. They're like, oh, we're not going to be able to fulfill this one thing, but we can't take this one thing out of the order, so we cancel the whole order, so you've just lost everything. Thanks for shopping at Target.
Yep.
So I gave up.
Yeah, Chris and I were just talking the other day about the buzzworthy Cybertronium Jazz that if you pre-ordered that from Target's website, it hasn't shipped. It's gone on clearance at the store, but if you ordered it from the website, as far as I know, none of those have shipped.
What a headache. God.
I never actually saw that Cybertronian Jazz at the store. I don't know. Maybe I just.
I saw
I see it
dozens,
everywhere.
and their chests are ripped off. One of the TikTok challenges is to rip off the heads and chests of any toy that has an open face now. So these kids, they break the toys in the store, so then they don't sell, but the stores won't knock them down on clearance because they're broken. So they just sit in perpetuity, broken forever. Good times. We've got so many headless RCs and Skullgrins and Skidses all over town here. And I want to move them from one store to the other just to get rid of them so I can stop seeing them, but I don't want to be the guy returning a headless Skids. Like, I bought this like this. I'll just leave it. We have freaking Skids, Wave 1 2022, at every Target in my area. Most of them headless. God, I love it. It's so good.
Well, with that depressing thought, maybe we should call it a night.
There you go. So Rick, I guess you've got your credit card bill. You have to worry about that. You've got back to school. You got all these other orders that are coming due.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got like 50 million of these model kits. I subscribe to the model kits. So, they send you a piece at a time, so you don't have to buy them all at once. You don't have to build it all at once. Take a week off to build the whole thing. And I thought I'd just build them while I'm on vacation. But I'm so far behind that Anyway, this is the Optimus Prime Agora model kit, G1. This thing's going to be 4 feet tall.
It's huge, yeah.
And you know what? Die-cast.
Really?
Ooh. Fully posable.
Okay, so we're talking about prices and things today. We're talking about pricing. What is the cost of that once all said and done?
I think I pay $40 a box, and it comes this.
You get a hand, that's $40, and you get a neck, and that's $40. You get a knee.
You could do it over the course of a year or 6 months.
Okay.
So I'm doing the 6 months.
6 months times 4. Okay, or 6 months times 40.
Yeah, and then I got hooked. So I'm doing the DeLorean. I'm doing the.
That came in a box.
Yeah.
Fucked in a box.
Yeah. They got Knight Rider. They got the Ecto-1. And then they got the movie Optimus. So yeah, I'm pretty hooked on these.
Well, there you go.
Anyway, don't be me. That's the final.
I'll be interested to see that once you get it done. Are you going to show that on Cut the Tape?
No, there isn't time.
Oh.
Not enough tape.
I can speed it up for you. Just let me know ahead of time.
Right, just like you did the last time. I told Lucas to speed up the tape. There's literally an episode where it's like an hour and a half of me just sitting there opening sweeps at regular speed.
I remember that one.
There you go.
I found a whole bunch of other sweeps, so we can do it again.
I saw Scourges. I saw a couple of Studio Series 86 Scourges in stores the other day and was just like, what are you doing here? Who returned you? What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what, 2.5 years ago he dropped?
Send them my way.
Something like that.
Jeez.
I still find Cyclonus at Ollie, so.
You guys still see, by any odd chance, Studio Series Age of Extinction Galvatron anywhere?
It's been a couple of months. I saw one in a destroyed box a couple of months ago. If I come across another one, I will let you know. I will pick it up if you want, and we can discuss.
That would be amazing. I picked one up, like I mentioned, at Facebook Marketplace a few weeks back. It's missing the back panel that in vehicle mode secures the underside of the truck. Everything else is there. The accessories are there. It's just that one large back panel.
Okay. I'll keep an eye out.
Any final thoughts on spending money, Phil?
I mean, I've been preaching my strategy of tier out what you want. If it's a tier A toy that you're worried, or an exclusive that you're worried you might not get, buy it right away, pre-order right away. But if it's not a tier A toy and you're comfortable missing out on it, just wait for it to go on sale. And that strategy has been paying off significantly over the last, I'd say year plus. So, I mean, you can get more if you're patient. You'll miss out on a couple things, but the vast majority of stuff I have been able to get, and for that Pulse sale, 35% off, man. That's nothing to sneeze at.
Yep, that's when you troop build.
Mm-hmm.
Peter.
I don't have a tier system, but I certainly have a pass-fail sort of thing. Pre-orders for me are almost a non-starter anymore and have been for a couple of years. So I know I'm not going to pre-order anything, but is it worth it for me to go up and get and wander around and shop for a thing or wait for it to go live? It's a pass-fail. Do I have time? Do I care? I don't know. Probably not. I'd rather buy something old.
Nothing matters.
Nothing matters. We're all gonna burn here soon. Burn or drown. You pick.
It doesn't matter. Jimbo, any final thoughts?
A little. First off, like we mentioned earlier, prioritize yourself and your stability first above all else. We mentioned it's a fun hobby. It's a good form of escapism. Even though, I know, the ocean in Florida is 101 degrees. Canada's on fire. And so with what little time we have left, if you're able to safely enjoy the hobby, try to do so responsibly. If you can kind of hold off on some things, until they go on clearance, that's cool. If you can't, don't shoot yourself in the foot just to participate in a hobby, because these things are being manufactured and created. They're still going to exist years from now. They may be harder to obtain, but they're not like a limited window and you'll never see it again ever, period. These are physical, tangible objects. So there will be other opportunities later on. They might not always be affordable, though. But first and foremost, prioritize yourself and your wellness.
Lucas, what do you think?
Well, I was going to mention book club this week on the TF Talk Discord at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central. It's going to cover some Earthspark episodes. They're going to cover episodes 19 through 26. So it sounds like they're going to be watching all the new ones.
That is such a gorgeous series.
Yeah. So, and that's a great way to enjoy the hobby without spending a lot of money too. So check that out on Sunday night. I kind of echo the same thing as these other guys. I've, just had to, as much as I can try to focus, but it's a constant battle of doing so.
Can I ask you guys something real quickly? Something I've just been thinking about. I know we're coming towards an end, and wait, Peter, let's get your final thought, and let me ask my question after a final thought.
Peter had his final thought. He said he hated it.
All right, so I was at a toy convention this weekend, and I saw things that I don't think I'd ever seen in person before. And sometimes seeing something in person is like, holy cow, that's even cooler in person. But
tell him what you saw. Tell him specifically what you saw, because it was mind blowing.
Dino-Saucers toys.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Dino-Saucers toys, but that's not what I was actually thinking of for myself. I saw Action Master Optimus Prime in person for the first time ever.
For the first time ever?
Yeah.
You're grounded.
First time ever I've seen Action Master Optimus Prime in person. it's not as great looking as it looks in the packaging photos, obviously.
Take that back. You take that back.
I think it's still a cool toy, but it was just like
Mhm.
so this is my question. Does seeing something in hand versus seeing something online give you more of a pause of like, that's not as neat as I thought it'd be?
Sometimes
just
seeing something in
seeing it-
hand, it flips it around. It makes me want it more.
That's I think a divergent point for
See-
different people then.
See, I feel like it's different. Like when you go to TFcon and the Chosen Prime has their displays up in the middle, right? And they have whatever cool thing, and they have this amazing lighting and a just really cool display set up with the things. You're like, oh man, whatever that IDW Grimlock was something where it's like, yeah, it kind of looked cool, but now that I actually see it in person, ooh boy, it's pretty tempting. And they've got it right over there for sale, Then it makes it really hard.
Yeah, I guess when you're seeing something in like some guy's like booth wrapped in old Ziploc bags, it's not as tantalizing as the Chosen Prime booth.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
like when I
have
first
to stay
saw
away.
Mean Streak.
Yeah, I got to stay away from the Chosen Prime booth because the lady boss there, the owner's wife, she has a nasty habit of getting me for like $300 or $400 more than I intended to spend.
I thought you were going to say there was a restraining order, but that's
She has a nasty lawyer who slapped me with a cease and desist, restraining, keep my distance. I'm not supposed to go to the shows anymore, but here I am.
As long as they put Chosen Prime in one corner and me in the other, that's about 500 yards.
That's why you shaved, right? So you could be in disguise.
I tend to visit them at the end of the show.
When you're completely tapped
otherwise-
out. I'm completely broke. Let me visit Chosen
Well, I
Prime.
mean, that makes sense. Then you know how much you've sold and if you got an expanded budget.
So, Rick, do you have any other final thoughts?
Stop making everything come out at San Diego Comicon. Spread it out over the year. Spread it out better.
Yeah.
Just spread it. Spread it better. Spread
So
it.
you know what you could do, and this is just a thought. Okay, so it's July or whatever. What you could do is you could start a savings account, right? And you could put money in that savings account ahead of time. So that way when all the stuff that like knowing that next year is probably going to be the same as this year because last year was the same as this year, if you save up, maybe it won't be as bad. No?
Right.
Yeah.
Because next year, Robosen's coming out with the Transformers drone that turns into Starscream. And this is actually going to be a flying drone.
Yeah, and that's $3,000.
That's right. That's the pre-order price.
Yeah, fair enough.
And you need to get approval from the FAA in order to fly it around.
Yeah, the Russians are trying to shoot him down.
I mean, with that note, we got PulseCon coming in September. So if you need to save for that, start catching your pennies.
There you go, Rick.
It just doesn't stop. It doesn't.
Maybe
tomorrow-
we'll have another Robosen figure at that point.
Rick mentioned the Morgon set. So for those of you who did not get a San Diego Comic-Con code, that goes on sale tomorrow at 1 Eastern, and adjust your time zone accordingly on Pulse.
I bought that stupid Chuckles because it's got the Soundwave accessory.
With Sound Blaster.
Sound Blaster.
That's the only reason I got that figure.
It's not even movie accurate Chuckles, man. Why? Man.
Speaking of conventions, that just reminded me too. I just found out the other day. For those of you living in the Midwest and those of you who can afford to travel, in December, I think like December 2nd, Columbus, Ohio is having GalaxyCon. They will have Peter Cullen in attendance. So if you have missed, like myself, every conceivable opportunity to meet the man, he doesn't have too many more days left. Realistically, he's in his 80s. So if you can make it, I plan on being there. Maybe you could meet up, say hi. I think like Grant Gustin and a few other celebrities are going to be. I'll have to look at the list, but Peter Cullen was the main one I noticed, and so that locked it in for me. So it's like the first week of December.
You said GalaxyCon in Columbus first week
I
of
think that's
December.
what it's called, GalaxyCon.
Okay.
So I'll double check, but I'll post the link in the Facebook group once I double check.
Yeah,
Okay,
with you
sounds good.
mentioning that, Jim, for those of you who've seen the deleted scene from Transformers: Rise of the Beast that they didn't finish with Prime at the beginning fighting the bus
Transit.
Transit.
Yeah.
Thank you. Like they didn't touch up Cullen's voice, and it sounds it's showing his age, and so it was a little rough to hear that. And I saw him last year at TFcon, fortunately. But yeah, you're right. He's not going to be around forever, and unfortunately, he will eventually become one with the Allspark, as the kids say. Yeah, take those opportunities when you can.
Fun little side story, just real fast before we close. My very first convention I ever went to, BotCon 2006. It was in, I believe, Lexington, Kentucky, if I remember right, and that was the year prior to the movie. You had like the giant robot hand with the counter, counting down to the first film's premiere. And Peter Cullen was in attendance that year, and I lost track of time in the dealer room because first convention. Oh my God, toys everywhere! I lost track of time. I missed Peter Cullen by 45 minutes, and I've been kicking myself for the past 17 years. So by hook or by crook, I will be in Ohio this December to meet him.
Hey, Rick, Ron did mention in the chat, don't forget also the Minosaur box set is also going on sale pretty soon here. August 1st.
Which has new tooling for Breakdown.
Yeah.
Just for Breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
New head.
New head.
But
they're going to get you.
$189. So
they're
going to
get you however they can.
Yep. Don't forget about that.
So pretty.
All right. On that note, thank you everyone for joining in tonight. Thank you to everyone to the chat as well. Great show, and we will see everybody next week.
Don't watch the show anymore, Ron. Don't comment.
Take care.